The Department of Labor and OSHA are conducting an investigation into the death of a 16-year-old at a poultry processing plant. The company has been cited countless times for the damnedest things where they're just ignoring safety of these kids. First of all, how many times have you and I done this story?
Oh my God, at this point, we're talking about dozens of times in the last year.
How many times have you seen it on corporate networks?
No, you don't ever
Why?
hear these.
Tyson is a big advertiser. These poultry folks are big advertisers. They sell all the chicken in the country. They sell all the beef in the country. And so what happens is you're not going to hear it from corporate media. But we did this story because we were talking about, I remember Tyson. You remember the Tyson story we did a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Tyson's closing down plants all over the country because it was discovered that they were getting ready to hire 40,000 immigrants to step into those shoes, right?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, and so now we've got this Marjack poultry processing plant, and they have multiple plants across the country.
all over the country.
But the issue with them is they did the same thing, said, okay, let's bring in the migrants, but they went a little step further. They said, we're not just going to bring in the migrants, we're going to bring in migrant teenagers.
Yes.
And we're not going to have any kind of safety regulations. They didn't even have railing up where what is it called? The pulverizer?
Yes.
Which can, if you get stuck in that, you are dead. And that's what happened to this 16-year-old.
Yeah. Well, it's either that or you'll have a system that they know fails all the time.
Yeah.
We've had people losing their arms, sucked up into the system. We're talking about kids. Now, who they really love is the unaccompanied minors that are coming across the border. All right? They love that because you got a 16-year-old that's got to figure out how to live, right? So he's going to do anything. He or she is going to do anything to keep kicking. And so this is what they do. They go out and they understand, bring in more. Bring in as many as you can. Because if we cut off an arm or we blind them or they're hurt some way, we send them back to Guatemala. This kid, Guatemalan, 16-year-old, and this failure that took place that killed this kid had taken place dozens of times. They had been put on notice dozens of times that this can happen, right?
Yeah, this wasn't even the first time somebody died in the last 2 years at that particular plant, almost in the same way. So 2 years prior to this child dying, you had another person die. They knew the failures. OSHA looked into it and said, hey, you did some bad things. We found about 10 other violations. Give us $100,000 and we're done.
Well, human life is cheap, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, it's in their minds, human life is cheap. Used to be we had to go to Honduras, Nicaragua, India, China to get slave labor. But now, under the headline of compassion for immigrants, that's what really ticks me off.
Yeah.
The American, we got to do this. This is compassionate America. This doesn't have anything to do with compassion. It has to do with U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Associated Industry, and every major corporation in the world bringing these folks in so we can move folks out that we're paying minimum wages to and have these people work for slave wages. That's what's going on here, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, these are people who routinely get hurt. They're not told how to operate these things properly. And they know that the CEOs, the corporations know that if this person does get injured, they can't do anything because they risk exposing themselves as an undocumented immigrant, or they know they're going to get shipped back. They could lose their asylum status if they can't hold a job. So these people will lose fingers. They will lose their vision. They will lose other parts of their body and keep on going. And that's what corporate America wants. Work until there's nothing of you left, and then we'll just grab the next person and replace you.
Farron, you and I have done this story. You've done this story. Sometimes I'll watch your story. I'll go, God, that's brilliant. It is a great attack, Farron. Thank you for doing the attack. And then I'll say, well, surely somebody's going to pick it up. Surely, because I know what happens. Corporate media looks through this stuff. I can promise you. Little producers are always looking for new material. So those producers are looking for new material. Oh, we can't tell that story, even though Farron laid it out item by item. Farron made it very clear what was happening. We're still not going to do the story. That's how this all works. And so when we start raising hell about it, like I say, if you believe this bullshit about we're the compassionate types bringing in all these folks, this is all about business. It's about bottom line. It has very little to do with compassion.
That's right.
As lawmakers in Washington ban TikTok in the United States, angry constituents are lobbing death threats at them. These threats aren't going to change the minds in Washington, and it could actually make things worse. Anybody who gets a death threat says, really? You want to threaten me? Let's mix this up. The pushback is incredible. First of all, TikTok story. It ain't about China. It's about Facebook and Instagram and all the competitors want TikTok out of the way because it's a flood to TikTok. And so best way to do it is get rid of them, right?
Yeah, and that is exactly what's happening here. Look, you've got the intelligence agencies here in the United States. There was a great report in The Intercept, Ken Klippenstein.
By the way, that guy, I got to say this. Ken Klippenstein is one of the best, I think is one of the best progressive investigative journalists.
Oh, yeah.
I say progressive because if you look at his stuff, he doesn't take a side.
Right.
I mean, Klippenstein takes it right down the middle, but when he does an investigation, you can damn sure count on the fact it's good, right?
He's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so what he's got here is that these intelligence agencies are also admitting, listen, we don't exactly have evidence that TikTok is really connected in any way with the Chinese government, but you could imagine what it would be like if it were, and they could get your personal data. I mean, they could get your location. The same thing that the phone in our pocket is doing to us right now.
Yeah.
TikTok might be able to do, and we're supposed to be concerned about that, but not Apple or Meta or any of the other places.
Look, China right now could buy everything that these politicians are saying TikTok might do. Now, I love the use of words. Do you realize since this has been gone, there's been no evidence at all? CIA has looked at it, FBI has looked at it, NSA has looked at it. There's been no evidence that's presented to anybody that's looking at this story in Washington that says this is happening. The words are, this could happen, be very afraid because this might happen, be terrified because it's possible this could happen. That's all the wording, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got to look at what these people are actually saying. They're not saying this has happened, but this could happen. This is all being fed by the lobbyists from Facebook, lobbyists from Instagram. They're pumping this up as big as they can, right?
They are. And I will say it is a shame that you do have these people that are calling in these death threats now, leaving these horrific voicemails, because that doesn't fix this situation at all. If anything, it makes these politicians more angry and only encourages them that, okay, we're doing the right thing. Look at what TikTok has done to these people. Ordinary people now saying they want to murder me. That's the threat of TikTok. Don't give them ammo. There's right ways to do these kinds of things and there's wrong ways, and the death threats are wrong. Calling your members of Congress, leaving them normal voicemails, encouraging them not to ban this, that's a great thing to do. Flood their voicemails if you have to, but keep it not illegal.
What I love is they're gonna promote propaganda. Okay, hell, all you got to do is call up Fox News if you want to promote propaganda. Call MSNBC, call CNN. Give those producers who are too damn lazy to get to the truth of the story, call them and give them propaganda. There's no worse propaganda than Fox, MSNBC, and CNN. And so all of a sudden they're saying we might have to worry about propaganda in the next election cycle if we don't do this to China, right?
I mean, there is so much propaganda in the United States right now originating from this country. We don't need to worry about other countries flooding us with propaganda or AI images that try to fool voters. That's coming from here. The calls are coming from inside the house at this point, folks. The real threats are in this country, but our politicians don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to acknowledge the threats that Facebook and Instagram and Twitter pose to youth, to election cycles, to misinformation in general. So all the ire is on TikTok to distract from the badness of the others.
Yeah, being sold as a grave national security threat to America. And this cat calls up a Republican senator. Okay, listen, if you ban TikTok, I will find you, hunt you down, and shoot you. I mean, God almighty, have we really gone this crazy? Yeah, I guess we have.